Well, thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining us on September. Hard to believe it. Is it really the 9th of September, 2023? My name is Don Carson. I have the pleasure of hosting the beginning stages of this call before I introduce our CEO and founder, Dave Jordan, to the call. You know, it's been interesting, and I've heard people say they've been, waiting for this moment for 7 months. It's kind of, for Dave, he's been waiting for this since really 1998. And for many of you, when you start seeing the prices on the sites, you'll see it always ends with a 98. And that's because it's a reference to when he first had the vision of doing this company back in 1998. All these years later, all the collection years later of him doing this massive collection of beautiful memorabilia in 3 warehouses and all these containers that I'm looking forward to seeing, Dave, next week when I'm there in Sioux Falls with you and my wife, Nancy, and I with you and Joyce. It's expanding. He's buying regular collections. He's buying them so that we're always filling the bucket for all of you. And today you're going to hear what this plan from 1998 finally came when we actually went to talk about it in January of 2023. And all these months later, 9 months later, with all the planning, all the everything, we're here at this point today to share with you Dave's vision finally coming to fruition. So it's a darn exciting time. It's a darn exciting time for any of you that are entrepreneurs that have been looking for a home, for any of you that really have struggled and moved from company to company to company. One of the biggest challenges you always have is, trying to share something that other people are sharing at the same time. And that's a competitive disadvantage unless you're the best talker, the best salesman. And so for us, what we recognized very early, my wife Nancy and I, when Dave blessed us with this opportunity to be your master distributors, was a category creator, something never done before, something that everybody will talk about for years and years to come. And that's what you're going to hear more about today. You'll get a little bit of an idea and a bigger picture from our CEO. So before we actually let Dave on, I want to share a video that Dave shot in the warehouse just the other day, because it kind of is pertinent to everybody here and all of you in our Collect Direct world. So let me just do this, making sure. Can you see that? Thumbs up, Debbie. Can you see that? Yes, perfect. Folks, you all that came into this program are founders that if you bought a sample package or sample order, because that's what we tested with in the month of August, the products went out. But we all promised you something, and this is to let you see exactly what we promised. Dave, congratulations on this video. Let's share it to the field.
Hey guys, Dave Jordan here, the CEO of Collect Direct. And here we go. We got Michael Jordan. We've got, and you got that? Front and back. This is a PSA 2. On eBay, it goes for about $3,000. Here's a Muhammad Ali autographed card certified in the pack. This one here, about $800. And then here's the 10 Michael Jordan of the Space Jam, made by Nike. Very rare. Go online. They go for anywhere between $500 and $1,200 at any given time. These are, I believe, the 3 prizes of all these that we've inserted. Marv does not do the mail. He runs the warehouse. So I wanted Marv to witness me inserting these into these books that are going to be sent out. So here's book number 1. Marv, what I'd like you to do is I'm going to insert this in the middle here. I'm holding Babe Ruth back. Now you just kind of slip it under one of them books. And then here is Muhammad Ali. Here's Muhammad Ali. And I just put Ali in the book. Mark, I want you to insert it under one of them books. And here's Michael Jordan being inserted into this book right here. So now you see Michael Jordan, some lucky winner is going to get my book, and Michael J. So 2 Jordans. You're going to get Dave Jordan and Michael Jordan. He's the GOAT. I'm an idiot. Anyway, here's the deal. I'm going to hand this book to Marv. You're going to watch Marv insert it. And then what we're going to do, guys, is this is the number of books that we've had going out. So what we're going to bring is our mailroom in, and they're told all they're doing is folding a letter. And Jason, come on in here for a minute. Now that we got them all inserted, we're folding a letter. All you're going to do is fold a letter, put it in the envelope. You're not going to open none of them because it's all random. Okay? And there was a few people we had to eliminate, so those ones are already out of there because they're good friends, they're master distributors, stuff like that. We couldn't let win. And we're going to do this as fair could be. So in my book, I hope the little old grandma wins because I like little old grandmas like my mom. But anyway, it's going to be a fun thing. And let us know. Post it on the website when you get your winner. When you get whatever you get, post it on the website. With that, Jason, I'm going to let you get to work. And me and Mark are going to get on your way, and we will get back to you then. Thanks, guys.
Okay, guys, that's just to show you that Dave is doing what he promised all along for you original founders. It's pretty exciting. One would call that almost like what they call what's it called, Dave? Jump right in now. What do they call that?
A box break.
Yeah, and what's inside you don't know, right? So you guys are getting it after the fact. So Dave, I'm turning it over to you. This is an exciting day, lots to share. Congratulations on reaching this moment, my friend.
Don, thanks, and welcome everybody to this September 9th Collector X Zoom. You know, I've waited for this one because this one's got some pretty good information coming. And for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Dave Jordan. I'm the founder and CEO of what I believe to be the best idea I've ever come up with, a company called CollectorX. And what CollectorX is, it's America's first online home-based direct sales opportunity, bringing antiques and all kinds of old things that, well, Don says, bringing the past to your future. And I kind of like that. Well, I'm bringing it to the collectible world. And most people who hear about us, because I get phone calls all the time, most people that hear about us, they say, this has never been done before. It's a category creator, but can it be done? And, you know, because it's not a commodity, you know, it's not something that you run through a warehouse and make, and this is all licensed product. This is all antique product. This is all product that has been from 40 years, 50 years old. You know, they say, Dave, do you have enough staff? Dave, I mean, there's so many of them. Do you have enough money? Do you have enough product? Do you have enough back-end software? Is that software going to let us down? Do you got a big enough warehouse? Do you got enough office space? You got, you know, you got enough product? All I can tell you to all those questions I get, I can just say yes to all of them. Everything I just said to you, those were literally questions from people who have asked me those questions. And some of them are very smart, but I'm telling you what, this ain't my first rodeo, especially in the memorabilia and toy industry. It's not my first rodeo. You know, we have been getting ready for this for 9 months. And the idea has been in creation before 1998, Don, but let's just say 25 years. I knew I was going to do this. I knew in my last company, when we did close to $400 million, sometime before I was 60, and I'm 56 right now, I knew I was going to do this. I knew this was going to happen. And anyways, all I can show you guys are just, you know, just a great company moving forward. I know a few people got upset about delays of 30 days and 40 days, but we can't launch this. We can't launch this and have it crash and then go back to you guys 3 weeks later and say, you know, hey, but you know, the software let us down, this and that. So everybody wants everything yesterday. We know that. But here's the thing. This is my baby. I don't have no kids. I have a wife. The first girl I ever dated, I married. We've been together ever since. But we don't have no kids. You'll read about that in the book. My whole point is, you know, this is my baby. This is my final chapter to my life. This is what I want to do. And all I'm saying is that I'm here to bring this to you. And I want to thank everybody that's on this Zoom. I want to thank everybody that's taken part over the last 9 months working. I mean, this has been an unbelievable. I mean, people need to realize, you know, I get up at 3 a.m. and I work till 5 o'clock every day. You know, that's 14-hour days, but this is my baby and I'm not going to let this down. And Joyce knows that we'll go sit in the Bahamas with all the leaders and take time off when it's time. But right now, this egg is getting hatched. Right now, it's in the incubator. It's ready to hatch. And we've waited and waited and waited. And all I can tell you is there are so many new things that are coming to this company. First thing I want to say, about 3 weeks ago, I'm laying in bed there about 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and I always got a yellow clipboard in bed with me, and I'm writing down ideas. I'm talking to my wife. We're either watching Jeopardy pre-recorded, or we're watching a movie, or we're watching the Cubs, or whatever. But the thing is, we've discovered and we created an opportunity for the network marketer. It's called the Dugout. And at towards the end of this Zoom, I'm going to bring Don back on to tell you a little bit about the dugout. Because when I brought it to Don, Don said, Dave, that's an unbelievable idea. That's an unbelievable concept. And if we could make that happen, it would make a lot of people happy that are not here just for collectibles. They're here to make money. They're here to build a team. They're here to go out and share it with IRs and say, you know what? This is a great product line. And right over here doing it this way, we could be in our happy zone, in our network zone. And it's a little bit different than a collector being in a collector zone. You know, we'll be talking about how this works, like I said, towards the end of this call. Second, I want to say we're fully ready with all of our merchant accounts and all the back-end systems to pay you and all the ways of being paid, from money coming into me to money going out to you. And I want to thank Aaliyah, Carrie Ann, Janet, Terry, and especially Ben, who has worked around the clock to make these things happen, And Chris, the coder. I mean, these guys are working for us around the clock. Third, our international shipping has started. And I know Jackie Boyle's on here and it's 2 a.m. in Australia and Jackie's a warrior. But Jackie, all those Australian packages are now in the mail, including their book, including their prize. And I'm hoping somebody in Australia can win one of those big time cards just so they could talk about it with their friends and say, wow, I got a Muhammad Ali card. Wow, I got a Michael Jordan card. Wow, I got a Ted, whatever. But my whole point is all those packages have left the warehouse. Thanks, Ben, all the hard work you did to get that to work. Fourth, you know, all of August, we ran a contest. And we had a contest that we shared. And now that little video that Don just showed you, that was all the packages going in the mail. Now, I wanted to get a picture, and I know Marv did get one. He sent it to me. I wanted to show you a picture of how many were in there with the DHL box that was, you know, pretty much full. And then it goes out of the DHL box. It goes to the United States Postal Service or international, whatever. But that was full. And guys, them are all in the mail now. We promised you you'd get that before the 15th, and you're going to get that before the 15th. But the coolest thing is towards the end of this Zoom, I want to talk to you about the event coming up and how big August is going to be remembered for this company. You know, how big it's going to be for this company. You know, good luck to everyone on that mailing. There's nobody in there that I was biased on. There was nobody in there that said, hey, this guy's got to win this. Hey, this guy, I was fair to everybody. But I did eliminate my brother and some close friends, some master distributors, because I don't want anybody to think that, you know, I cheated or somebody got something that, you know, looks too stupid, that, you know, 5 people just out of random 5 get all the top prizes. I mean, I'd look like an idiot. So I just said, look, I'm just going to, you know, make that rule. And that's, look at Bob Novell laughing. Bob Yabakel is laughing because he knows he was eliminated on at least the first 5, because if he wins it, they're saying, hey, wait a minute, that's Dave's big band guy. He's the one that called Dave first when his dad died. He's one of his best friends. Well, guess what? He is a best friend, but that's it, you know? I mean, that's just the way it goes. But guys, I'm telling you, where we're going with this and what we're doing is amazing. Now, fifth, I want to say system glitches, you know, the errors, the working out the errors. This is what Don said to you every night in the month of August, that we have to work out these glitches. So we launch early, and thank everybody. Thank you all for sending a ticket to support and saying something's wrong, because we can't fix it if you don't say it's wrong. And that's what the month of August was used for, to fix this system for you. Now, that being said, they're working on that around the clock, but I made it clear to them, and we had an emergency Zoom that I invited a couple leaders on from the team, and Dale Culvert being one of them, that he knows, and I know, and Don knows, and other people know, that I made it clear to these guys, stop all this other crap, and I want this company launched. I want this company launched as soon as possible, because that's what we promised. And guys, I'm telling you, the reason why next week is so important is because, guys, all these little glitches, by the end of next week, I'm hoping to have this thing done. Now, Monday at noon, remember this, guys, noon Central Time, everything launches, from the the dugout to the total website to every single thing launches. I looked at it today. They're testing it out. They're working with it. They're making sure all these things are rolling. I said, well, guys, let's give everybody football Sunday. Let's work out anything we can through the weekend and make sure this thing is flowing, because here's what I didn't want. I didn't want to launch it today at noon and have 3 of my 4 coders off because it's the weekend. And then all of a sudden we have this emergency, and I don't want to bring no more negativity to you guys. You see what I'm saying? We promised between the 10th and the 15th. And I think Monday's the 11th. So we're 4 days early. And believe me, I said the 15th, but Don wanted it the 10th to the 15th, and we're pressing. And I love that man because he is a doer. He will press, he will hit, he will do whatever it takes to get it done. And that's the one thing I love about Don Carson. And that's why I picked him to be your leader in the field. Guys, I mean, my coders, they promised me, so it will be ready. Just so you guys know, the engine will turn on. Everything's ready. Look behind me. There's all kinds of items that are ready. 8,000 SKUs of product that we've literally gotten ready for this, incredible launch. And believe me, there's people calling me. There's people saying, Dave, are you seriously going to launch? Yes, it's going to be done. This is happening this month. So many people in the field have just given me so many requests with ideas and just everything to make this company great, to make this opportunity history, to make this opportunity a category creator where I believe every single different person of all different walks of life and all direct sales and all network marketing and all traditional business will at least look at this opportunity and say, if that guy can deliver the product, if that guy can make this happen, this deal is going to go crazy. And dudes, all I can tell you is this year, so far this year, I have bought more product this year than I ever have bought in the 40 years prior to this year. So the cool thing is, as I move it out, we're replacing it. As we move it, as we share it, we're replacing it. And thanks to all those people out there that do that with me, all my different people that deliver stuff, from Kyle to John, to all these different guys that are bringing stuff to me, selling me collections, finding me items. And it's just amazing, guys. What I want to do now is I want to go to my wingman. I want to go to my master distributor. And I want him to talk about the dugout, because the dugout launches on Monday. And it launches on Monday at noon. And then he's going to come back to me, and I'm going to share a few more things about our event, where we're going with the event. So without further ado, Don, will you jump back on real quick here and talk a little bit about the dugout before I move on with my next segment?
For sure, Dave. And I want that hat, by the way, when I see you on Monday. I want to have it autographed by you, and I want to put it as a collector.
Hey, my sister violated my trademark and made this for my birthday. So I can't get mad at her because I love my sister. But this is a trademarked hat. This is actually the first hat in Collector X. So it's
well, we're excited to see what you're going to share here in a little bit. But folks, the dugout. And many of you have said, you're talking about the dugout. What is it? So let me just share my screen. Let's get you all excited about what this is going to do for all of you and how it's going to work. So first and foremost, let me know you can see the screen, Debbie. Yeah, perfect. Okay, here's the picture. Dave has picked 100 items to start with that are $9.98. They're all unique. They're all interesting. But the concept is this. The networker constantly wants to drive volume. They want to drive QR, which Q volume, which is the qualifying volume. And they want to drive business volume, which is BV. But they also want to make money, right? So go and pick 10 out of the 100. So one item, 10 total, $99.80. Notice the 98's in the middle this time. So it's $99.80. So 9 times $9.98 is $99.80. What do you get for that? Well, you're getting 10 unique items, and they're very unique and fun items, random items from all over the place, right? But here's how the money works for you networkers, you enthusiasts, you entrepreneurs. I want to walk you through this. So there's the picture, 10 items picked from 100. Dave has promised that at some point there'll be 200. But right now, we launched with 100 unique $9.98 items live Monday at noon. Now, before I show you the money, let me just talk about the launch on Monday. You've been asking for it on Monday. When you send out your link and somebody goes on there, your name will be on the top of the website. That goes live on Monday as well. So you'll be representing yourself when you send out your link. So you'll know that the person's on your link because they're going to see your name at the top. That's happening Monday. Here's how the Dugout works, folks. So it's $100, right? For 100 BV. Look on this column right here. This is what we call unilevel BV for the first Dugout order. This is the second and ongoing orders of the Dugout. Now, what are you going to do as a networker? You're going to promote to your team the Dugout. Here's why. You're going to say, hey, guys, I'd like you to every month get some Dugout products and use that as a promotional piece for you when you travel around the field. Each one of those 10 items you could use as a promotional piece, right? But it's the magic of the 100 BV that will help the team grow. Let's take a look at this up here. Every one of you that purchase a Dugout the first time, your original sponsor will make $10, okay? They'll make $10 as a fast start reward. That's the first order only, because going forward, the unilevel is where the money will be paid out based on your customers and your members. So you'll get 100 BV. Use the math, folks. You were getting 50 BV in the sample program, but you get 100 for $100 on this one, and you get 100 QV. So rank advancement, business volume to be able to get your cycles going quickly. For those of you that understand that so far, is going to be magical for those of you that promote the Dugout within your teams. 45 ULBV means on your first order. Now take a look at this chart here, everyone. I've given you an illustration. We did this with the team the other day. Here's the first level, first order, 5% of that 45 number that we've allocated pays you $2.25. Person comes back and orders a Dugout the next month and the next month and the next month and the next month, and he's your original enrolled member. You're going to make $4.50 on that Dugout purchase. Meanwhile, there's 100 BV going into your tree, 100 qualifying volume going into your tree. It's counting as personal BV, personal for you for qualifying. It's magical. Then you start building a team. They bring in somebody with a Dugout, and so on, and so on, and so on, and so on, and so on. Meanwhile, this is to show you your customers also are going to be paying you unilevel pay, not on the Dugout, because your customers cannot buy the Dugout. It's only members that can buy the Dugout. But going forward, so you understand it, you can go as wide as you want with your customer base when we use the unilevel for the shopping cart that is launching on Monday. So this right here is how it pays you out. It's an example payout for all of you to get your head around. If you want to screenshot it right now, it will be posted later. It's pretty simple. Use your imagination when you think about the membership around the world that is going to be involved in this company, and how many of those members will be connected to you and your teams and your team members, and you'll start making these little $2.25 checks every time they purchase the Dugout. Never mind that they're going to be purchasing the collectibles they want and promoting to their customers the 8,000 items available day one starting Monday. It's magical. And I want to say to you guys, I've done the math internally. This part of our plan, for many of you, once you get your head around it, will be a reward every month, because it's paid monthly, that will actually be a memory you'll never forget about. Because day one, if you have 5 customers and you're getting the retail rewards, and your members, you have 5 members and they start buying a Dugout every month, it will just grow and grow and grow as they bring their membership to the table. So this is how the Dugout works. Dave, I think it just kind of paints a picture for everybody, but this is live, coded in our back office. And the last piece for all of you is this one right here. We have a global share with 400 BV, but the Dugout is only going to count 40 of that, called DBV, Dugout BV. So you have to have, in other words, if it was just Dugouts you were building your team with to get your share, it's 10 Dugouts that would mean 400. So you can combine normal BV from your collectibles, from your customers, from your members buying things, plus if you have people buying the Dugout, that's how you'll earn a share. So it's not 100 BV going towards the global share from a Dugout, it's 40 DBV. That's how it works. It's pretty simple. I hope you all understand. We're excited to share this with you, and back to you, Dave.
Thanks, Don. You can still hear me okay, right? I'm looking at the screen here, so I'm on. Okay, that's good. So, guys, all I can tell you is that there's so many different things. What I'm going to try to do now is go to share my screen. And I'm going to come on down and talk a little bit about our event coming up. And here we go. Like Don, I've never done this before. So I'm going to, I'm not too computer savvy with this, but I'm going to give it a shot. Let's see.
Share screen.
Okay, share screen. Alrighty, and there we go. Okay, so let me see here. There
You
it
gotta
is.
click on it.
Share, got it.
There you
There
go.
it is. Okay, so first thing I want to talk about is apparel. You know, like this hat I'm wearing. My wife right now is talking with a very you know, a person that's been here 5 times with me talking about all kinds of apparel. So they're a local here, right here in Sioux Falls, and it's somebody that we've been talking with. And then Don has actually put me on with somebody that we're talking a little bit with too. So that direction will be made here in the next week and a half to what direction we're going to go with it. And we're going to have all kinds of different things that you could go on the site and buy and share. And they're not going to be items that are going to be with volume where you can make money selling them, but they're going to be items that you could use to wear and advertise what you're doing. The next thing I want to talk about is recognition. Now, these ain't carved in stone yet. They're not final, but these are just some designs that we've come up with as a team. Don and his team have come up to say, you know, how does this look? How does that look? And I think, you know, with a little bit of silver and real gold and real silver on these, they'll be gorgeous. These are going to be pins because the one thing I'm going to do in this company is recognize. And, you know, when I was a distributor, like all of you, when I was a distributor, I always tried to be the best I could be. But it was the pin that drove me to do that. And I was always the top guy in recruiting or whatever, whenever I built my businesses. I was always after these pins. I was always wanting the highest pin on me like a Cub Scout. The next thing I want to talk to you about is our leadership conference. Our leadership conference, this is going to be the first conference in the history of the company. So this one's going to be kind of neat. And it's the 27th and 28th, and then the 26th will kind of be like a little welcome party that night. But on the 27th, we're going to have a full-fledged convention with speakers, with all kinds of different people there talking about this and that. And then on the 28th, I think we're going to have a university to where it's going to be like an 8-hour learn everything you want to know, talk about some of these items you want to talk about some of the things you want to do, learn from some of the best like Dale Culvert and some of the leaders like Don. You know, there's so many different things to talk about at this. And I know, Don, I don't know if you can find her, but I'd like to bring Terry Reckner on for maybe 5 minutes just to talk a little bit about what we've been working on for the last, 30 days.
Yeah, so let me just talk first. So the magazine. So when Dave and I first started talking about marketing and how we could help everybody, we talked about a magazine, just giving people a general overview, very thoughtful overview of different aspects that you could learn about the business, and you could also share with people that maybe knew nothing about this. So we spent really weeks and a
Your
couple
co-host
months.
now, Terry. Sorry, your co-host now.
Okay. A couple months putting this together. And I really want to go over this because a lot of you haven't really looked at the magazine on how it can really help you build your business. So I'm going to share this with you and then talk a little bit about each one very briefly. So this is the most important one, and this is why it's the first article in here. Collect Direct, a new era for collectibles inspired by the giants of e-commerce. So we didn't use the names, but everybody knows what we're talking about when you read this article. So Amazon, eBay. When we first heard eBay or Amazon, nobody knew what it was. Today, they're the giants. So when we talk about a category creator, we're the same thing. So how big can Collect Direct become? Well, if you look at Amazon and eBay, I guess that's a pretty good roadmap that we're following. The next article is unleashing the home-based business, right? Everybody wants home-based business. And this is a true story. I was at the hairdresser the other day, and I was telling Dave this. I'm talking to my gal, and she says, "What are you working on?" So I started to tell her about Collect Direct, and she goes, "Oh my God, we collect baseball cards. We do all this stuff." And she goes, "As long as I don't have to buy something to lose weight, I'm interested." So that's what we love about this. No lotions, no potions, no weight loss, no get rich quick. It's about something that everybody does. And I never realized how many people collect something. So now what Dave has done, the beauty of all of this is he's taken something that we've done all of our lives, and now we can make it into a business. And so for the millennials and the Gen Z, they're all talking about side hustles. So this talks about what will resonate with them. That's why this article is so important. Picture of Dawn. The journey of a collector. So people do this as a hobby. They don't think of themselves as collectors. They start as a hobby. So this really talks about it. And this picture here is from Dave's collection, obviously, but it talks about the journey so that you guys can understand what a collector goes through. And maybe this article alone will help you when you're talking to somebody that's a collector. And these are all collections that Dave has. Everything in this magazine, Dave has. We didn't buy any pictures. Everything is Dave's collections. And then the ultimate collector. How did we get here? 40 years of Dave collecting. And Joyce saying, Dave, if you're having fun, go buy it. And sure enough, Dave listened to Joyce and bought everything, and not just one, multiples. So I remember when Dave was moving from North Dakota to South Dakota, and he said, oh no, I got 24 semis in my backyard. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? 24 semis of stuff from all of his life collecting. So now it's in the warehouses, but that's how amazing. So this will give you an insight into who this guy is. So it's a very, very good article to read so that you understand. And then unlocking the grading game. I was clueless. I had no idea. PSA 10, I don't know what a 7, I don't know what any of that means. But sports cards right now are huge. Anything that you read and learn about, they're huge. So graded cards means a lot. So if you're like me and you didn't understand, you got to read this. It'll help you understand why this is so important. And these are all Dave's cards, by the way. Building a lasting legacy through collecting. So many times I see on TV that parents don't know how to connect with their kids and these kids are running crazy. And then I talk to parents that are actually collecting something with their kids. I talked to a guy the other day and he says, oh yeah, I collect Funko Pops. Well, I now know what Funko Pops are, but he collects it with his little boy. And then I had somebody else I talked to that's been collecting Barbies and now she shares it with her daughter. So this is really a way that we can bring parents and kids together, that they start collecting together. And it's really going to be a phenomenal. I think this is going to be an untapped market for us, is the parents and their kids and doing something together. Toys. Who doesn't have a story of a toy when they were growing up? So it was funny. I was talking to Carrie Ann last week and I said, Carrie Ann, I don't know. I don't get on how to approach some of these younger kids today. And she said, Terry, I have to tell you, my daughter, Star Wars. I'm like, really? Like, I didn't understand how important that generation is with Star Wars. Dave has it. So there's not a generation that Dave doesn't have a toy that will connect you. So when Dawn talks about bringing your past to the future, that's what it's about. Think about it. When you were a little girl, what did you collect? Or you were a little boy, what did you collect? I still have some of my stuff. It's in a box. I just took it out of the attic and I thought, oh my God, I totally forgot about these things. So it's really important. All of this is stuff Dave has. The evolution of the comic book. Who knew there was an evolution? I knew nothing about comic books. When I was growing up, I missed all that. I didn't do anything with comic books. But when I did the research, I learned about the eras. I didn't know there were eras in comic books. If you want to approach somebody and you want to understand comic books, you got to read this article. It gives you everything you need right in this article. So when Dave and I really talked about this, we really wanted it to be something that you guys could read and understand how big this really can be if you don't know anything, which I didn't know anything. I didn't know about the grading. I didn't know that every era has toys. And I certainly didn't know that there were eras in comic books. But now I know. Now I can talk intelligently. So that's what Dave really wanted me to get across with this magazine, because it's not just some magazine that we threw together. We spent weeks, we agonized over it. And then on top of that, I had my husband read all this, because I don't ever publish anything without Dennis saying, okay, that sentence is correct. Okay, you did everything right. So he helped me. So he's my editor of this. But it really was our first inaugural, and we wanted it to give you what you needed to explode your business. Now we're already talking about the next one, so I'm pretty excited about that to see what we come up with. But that's the magazines. Now let's talk about the event. Super excited. So I was on the phone with Dave at 6:30 his time this morning, 7:30 my time, just going over some ideas that we have, and it's going to be pretty fabulous. There's some things that we're going to do that is never been done before, and that I think everybody's going to be super excited about. So for me, I've been involved in network marketing for a very long time, always selling something to somebody that they can consume. This is the first time that I don't have to have somebody drink something, take a pill, or look at losing weight. They can do something that they've been doing all their lives that I never realized. So from that aspect, I'm super excited. And Dave's brought back the team that's been really strong for him, that has his back, that really sees the vision, and super excited about it. So Dave, I'm just excited about everything. I'm glad to be a part of this. I'm happy because there's so many cool things that we're working on to really help the team and to get out there. And that will be the next giant in e-commerce. So super exciting.
Absolutely, Terry. Thank you. And, like I said, the convention there, it's, we had it up on the screen. I'll bring it back here now.
Move your camera down a little bit again, Dave.
Down a little bit. Okay, right here. How's that? No. Right there. Good. Is that good?
Perfect.
Good. All right. So back on the screen, there's our convention. But here's the cool thing. The month of August, we had people that bought what we call our sampler packs. And these are pins that we're going to be making. And the only people that get this pack in August of 23 are the people that bought a sample pack. That month is gone. This is what we call a founder pin for that month. This is going to be like one of the coolest things that I'm always going to recognize in the history of our company. Then this event will have this pin, where at this event, this is me and Don remember our first event where we met in Kelowna. We talked about this very day of us being on the same page with, he's a huge sports fan like me, but this is a pin that we're going to have at that event, and a lot of recognition. So guys, all I can tell you is, you look on this screen and you see my guy Matt there. It says Addie and Matt on the picture. He's grading cards while he's on this Zoom. And the guy grades, I don't know how many cards, and I don't want to embarrass him and bring him off to talk a little bit, but I want to make a point. The point I want to make is, as we grade these cards, Don, last week, number 3, we're dealing with all the graders. We got ISA, SGC, PSA, BGS. But here's what I want to say to some of the people on here that are huge sports fans, because we're about to be a phenomenal. I mean, you can't even imagine. I'm going to grab something here, Don, and look at this stack. So look at this stack. This stack right here just came in the mail back. I made a special deal with a company, SGC. And what I did, these are loaded on the next run for the website. So these will be turned on sometime. But look at what I'm saying. So we got every grade from 8.5, that's about a $2,500 card. And then you go down a little bit here and you go to 6, 5 here. Here's a 6, but look at that number, 12. I loaded 12 of those on the Collect Direct website. I mean, his card in the Beckett is a $600 to $1,000 card. And look at them all. These are all numbered on how many we have. 17 of that one. And Don, this is Walt. This is the GOAT. This is the guy that's hard to get, 76, single printed card. And I know Dale Culvert knows what I'm talking about. I know he knows, because he knows he had a card shop. He knows. But what Dale says is, when he came and seen me, how do you have 300 of them? I mean, they're impossible to get one, and you got to save up to buy one. Well, I don't know how I got them all, Don, but I know this. There's a higher power working with this project. That's why it's got to be done right. Don, I'm telling you straight up. I mean, Babe Ruth struck out more than any other batter, but he's the Bambino and he's the GOAT, right? I mean, Alan Jackson played guitar, for 25 years before he got discovered at an airport by Glenn Campbell, because he loved playing music and he never gave up. My whole point is this. This is my guitar. This is my bat. I've waited for this. I don't need money. You know, I don't need to make money. This is what I want to do. And you know what the greatest thing is, Don? We bought a collection. We bought a collection out of Tennessee. And I'm looking over at all the people's faces. I'm not looking at the camera. That's my problem. But anyway, so we bought a collection in Tennessee. And in that collection, Don, was all these stockings that you see stitched up in a gas station. It looks like it's a screen. It's a red screen. And it's like stitched up. And then they put a bunch of toys in there. And they got them hanging up in all the gas stations you can go and buy. Well, I ain't going to sell them. We're not putting them on Collectorect. What we're doing with them, Don, is all the little defects. We get in Beanie Babies. I dig them out of the warehouse. If they're missing a tag, if a baseball pack is opened we have got millions of items that we are going to stick in stockings either this year or next year. And Collectorect is going to give 20 to 25 million or thousand stockings away to all the little kids. Like when I got it when I was little. I come from a family of 14. And you'll read my book and understand. I grew up with my dad as a police officer, but I know this. My brother Joey's on here, but I know this, Don. I'm going to give back to all the little kids too. This is how I give back to the adults, and they can give to their kids. And let your kid order your order. When this goes live, let the little guy go on there and pick out the order because he knows what he's buying. He knows what he's looking for. He knows the value. You know, my point is this, Don. I'm excited. Noon Monday, we're launching. We're promised that the glitches are all going to be gone by the end of next week. Where people that, like Don said, if you're $100 short on your check, don't worry about it. We'll fix it. My last company, we did close to $400 million. And the one thing is, everybody got paid. Never missed a check. Never had a problem. That's the strong side of this company is the merchant accounts. So Don, anything you want to say in closing? Anything you want to say as we jump off here?
Yeah, just finally on this before you stop the screen share, folks, all of you that bought a sample order in August or September, you're qualified to go to the event in Sioux Falls. All of you that reached the home run collector level, the influencer level, but you've actually been promoting and moved the sample orders through our setup month, you're qualified to go to the event in Sioux Falls. That means that right up until the 15th of October, all of you can qualify to be at that event in October. And Dave is going to be putting on a great event. He's not charging for it. And it's all about taking the group that's there and building the 2024 plan with all of you in the university. So Dave, maybe stop your screen share and we can just finish off by saying to everybody, thanks for joining us. I know I'm excited about going to a football game because that's what I love is sports. Dave, thanks for giving us a chance to share today, folks. Monday at noon, the Dugout and the shopping cart go live and you can start promoting. The magazine still doesn't have your username on the end of it, but please go and use that, collectoractmagazine.com. And all of this information is there for all of you. So Dave, thanks for putting this together, my friend. And you all have yourself a wonderful rest of your Saturday and have a great weekend. And go Bombers go, because that's where I'm heading now. Take care.
Prime time, the Buffalo and Deion Sanders. That's what we want to see. Well, they're playing the Cornhuskers. All right, guys, have a great day. We'll talk to you later. And Scott Martin, I'm going to give you a call. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Okay.